What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We finally have another LEGO movie. So, I figure I'm pretty much obligated to talk about this one. It's been half a decade since the last LEGO movie, over a decade since the first LEGO movie, and nearly 15 years since the real OG, my man, Clutch Powers. But today, I'm going to be talking about Piece by Piece, the LEGO documentary about Pharrell Williams. Yes, this is in fact a movie that exists. I can now say with absolute certainty that it's real. I've watched it, and the most surprising thing is, it's actually pretty good. I will say that I had the strangest experience with this film. My friend drove us 10 minutes to the wrong movie theater, which was closed anyway due to flooding. So we then had to drive 20 minutes across the city to the right movie theater, where we ended up missing the first 3 to 5 minutes of the film. And I've always heard stories about people saying that they've watched movies in theaters with hardly anyone else there. I always thought that was a myth because I never experienced it until now. But by the time we got to our showing of Piece by Piece, there were only 3 other people in the entire theater and no one else showed up for the rest of the film. Just thought I'd share that because I think it's a pretty funny story. Despite having missed the first few minutes of the film, though, I still feel that I have a fair opinion of it overall. Something worth noting about this film is that it's nothing like the previous LEGO movies we've gotten, either from a story perspective or an animation standpoint. It is quite literally a documentary but told through LEGO. And for better or worse, I can say it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. The previous 4 LEGO movies were animated using a blend of stop motion and CG animation, from what I understand, and I believe this film was animated entirely using the Blender animation style, which, if you didn't know, is a 3D animation software which has become fairly popular over the past few years. They used it for the very brief LEGO scenes in Across the Spider-Verse, for example. To clarify, I don't know this for certain. I read several articles online, and none of them could give me a clear answer. I'm just basing this off of what I've seen of Blender in the past, and this looks exactly like it. With that said, I think this animation style works really well with what they were trying to go for in this film. There was a clear amount of care and attention to detail put into it, even down to the pre-existing LEGO pieces they used throughout the movie. For example, in a scene where Pharrell uses an elevator, the dial at the top of the elevator was instantly recognizable to me as the printed tile for Jack Sparrow's compass from Pirates of the Caribbean. Or during the scenes where these artists are in recording booths, listening back to their music, they're just holding the headphone neck bracket piece up to the side of their head, since in LEGO, there's no such thing as a headphone piece. There are hair and headphone combo molds, but there's no such thing as a singular headphone piece. It's funny little things like that that show how much passion went into creating this movie. This film being animated in LEGO form allowed for some scenes of creative symbolic imagery that wouldn't usually be possible in your typical documentary. For example, in a scene where Pharrell is talking about one of his first collaborations with another artist from a different city, we see 2 crowds of minifigures separated by a giant chasm. But as they start performing, we see these 2 different sets click together to represent the unity of these 2 musical communities. There were other things I appreciated, like the animation becoming more blurry and less detailed during scenes that are clearly meant to be old camera footage. Something else that differentiates this from the past LEGO movies is that it isn't a comedy. Naturally, there is humor generated from the fact that everything is LEGO, or the 3 or 4 times where people jokingly remark that they're in a LEGO movie, but the film takes itself seriously for the most part. And weirdly enough, that worked for me. I found myself getting invested in the story of these people despite them all being LEGO and me not knowing much about Pharrell and his music, aside from some of his hit songs like Get Lucky or Happy. And that's where this movie walks a fine line between having something to say and being self-indulgent. A massive celebrity making an entire movie about themselves in LEGO seems a tad bit egotistical, doesn't it? But that's kind of the point of the movie. There's literally a shot where we see several jars lined up on a shelf, all of which have labels attached to them saying, "The best ego goes to Pharrell," obviously. There's a scene where he talks about taking things apart and rebuilding them brick by brick, similar to how he had to break himself down and rebuild himself throughout his career. As someone studying music, I thought this movie had quite a bit to say about different genres of music. They touch on jazz and how important it is to African American culture. They've got Black Lives Matter protests in here. People swear, considering how skittish LEGO is about everything, to the point where they won't even let the word slave be included in the name of one of their sets. This came as a huge shock to me. It seems like they let Pharrell do whatever the hell he wanted. For me, it keeps coming back to the question of why. Despite enjoying the experience of watching this film, I kept asking myself, why does this exist? Is it just a vanity project for Pharrell, or is it actually trying to be meaningful and thought-provoking? Beauty lies in the eye of the beholder, I suppose, and it'll take another full rewatch for me to determine that. If only 3 other people in my theater is anything to go by, I'd say it isn't looking to be a financial success. But I'm genuinely curious to see what the reception of this film will be over time. I hope this doesn't start a new trend of people making LEGO biopics or documentaries. Otherwise, this film will lose what makes it so unique, because I've never seen anything like it, and if nothing like it happens again, then it'll remain this weird, abstract piece of history where a musician decided to make a LEGO movie about themselves as a minifigure. I don't know. You guys let me know. What are your thoughts on Piece by Piece? Do you agree with me that it was strangely good, or do you disagree with me? Just whatever your thoughts are, please let me know them all in the comments below. And of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.